Yeah, it'll get there though. It's version 1.
I mean, to
So
buy
it's just
300 or 400 headsets for the audience is just a huge investment.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
But damn, it would be cool.
It'll get there though. It's
Only,
version
only
1.
Sarah
But
gets budgets like that to play with. She's
Yeah.
like, what?
My problem is I get motion sickness, and it's not too bad, but I can sometimes it can be triggered by the be
Right.
triggered
Yep.
by it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's I don't know if you've played with the Apple version yet, but it tends to be much less of a problem for people with motion sickness. And part
Oh,
of
that's
that
good.
is that part of it is that it has a higher frame rate, and so it actually feels more natural, and is less of a deal. But don't know, still early days. Anyway, welcome everyone to episode 10. We're small in quantity, high in quality, so so we'll be all right. All right. So we had a question. Was there a question? Take it away.
I have a question.
Oh yes, go for it.
I am just wondering if anyone uses the table allocation to put on people's invitations, and when they've got a row or a situation where it's actually letters rather than numbers, because at the moment you can't actually change the table. The table numbers can only be numbers, and we've got a situation where we want to use the table allocation, but it's theatre seating. It's in a theatre, so it's basically it's rows. It's B130 or sort of thing. And I just wondered if anyone has a workaround for that.
So you don't want it to have numbers. Sorry, Francie, what was it?
So it's like B1, B2, B3, B4 up to like B34, and then C, and then D. So we've got rows, and so the seats are numbers, but the rows are letters.
It's a good question. I'm looking up an event we did earlier in the year where we used seat allocation to manage. I didn't put it together, one of our team did, but we used it to manage gown hire. So people go in and select a gown hire, and we could manage and scan them in and out. And I think from config we would have had. Let me see if I can find
it was a different table for the different sizes.
That's right. Yeah. But I don't know if it necessarily had a seat alpha input. It was still numeric, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so have you tried it and it just doesn't work?
Yeah. If you change it to a letter and then go to another like tab out of that field, it goes NaN. So and it's got a label, so it changes the label in the floor plan, but that doesn't pull through into comms, and we're not actually using the floor plan because it's just tables, it's just seating, but we want the seats to be showing. I'm probably just going to use custom field, but yeah.
Could you do row? Could your table become your row and then just a seat number? So then in the I haven't done table allocation in so long, I just can't remember. Can you do like table A and then seat number and then just have that as a numeric?
So that's the problem, is that the table you can't change.
The table you can't have alpha. Okay, right. I completely misunderstood that.
Sorry. Yeah. No,
I thought you meant the seat.
Yeah, no. The seats I haven't tried, but we have numbered seats. It's the tables that you can't change. And as I say, so there's a table number and then there's a label. The label pulls through to the floor plan, but you can't use that label in comms. So
yeah, I think you're right.
I think it's a recent thing, because I know that this year when we had like sponsored tables, we actually had to still have a number, whereas in the past we could just have the sponsor's name on that table. I think it must be a new thing, or maybe it's always been around. I just feel, yeah.
It was definitely like it last year because this is something I do annually with these guys. And last year was the first time that they'd gone to theatre seating. And yeah.
But isn't this almost the same thing with the stands we were talking about a few weeks ago, that the booths also have to have a number?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah. So, as in they can't be letters at all. You can't just be letters, or you can't.
No, wasn't that Sarah? Wasn't that you that was dealing with that? And it was like,
no, I think that was
booth
Fleur.
types?
Yeah, so Fleur was saying that you can't have was it Fleur? Anyway, you can't have your booths can't start with a or can't have alpha. They can only be numerical.
Well,
and
that's definitely changed because I used to do when we used to try and sneak exhibitors in, we'd have like a B and a C.
Yeah, so we've got like tabletops versus stands. So we use like TTS.
Right.
And we had some problems, but not all problems. And the problems with that, my understanding was that it's about the lead scanning. So I think that's different again.
Yeah, and this is what it feels like to me too, is that in this instance, it's not actually the table allocation that's the main problem because of that label. You can put a label in there. The main issue is that you can't pull that label into the name badge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Intercoms, yeah. So yeah, I mean, immediately I was thinking, of course, you could just do rows as numbers, which is not intuitive. But you could, and that was the same with the booths, is that I was thinking if you were to start your numbers as 100 in the 100s is tabletops and the 200s is a booth or whatever it is, then it's obvious then that you're in the 100s or the 200s or whatever. There's one way of doing it, but yeah, in this instance, it sounds like it's more of an issue of that label not being able to come into the comms.
Yeah.
Which is annoying. Sorry, don't know that there is a big workaround. I mean, yeah.
I didn't think there was. I just thought I'd run it in before I have to go pick the child up in case someone had thought of something or found something. I had low expectations. No offense to anyone, just low expectations.
I'm just feeding everything through the bot now, and then when it eventually just pass me to a human. Like if it runs me through all the things.
Yeah.
I've been told that what I'm doing is apparently training the bot. You're welcome. And then I'm always just asking and then when they come back and not sure, can you please just check with everybody? Just go and ask everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sorry, we don't have a better workaround on that.
I don't think we've got a workaround. There was no workaround suggested there.
No. Yeah, there was not a better one. Not one at all. I was thinking about bulk changes as far as which is where you might end up anyway. But even then, can you filter based on the table? I guess you can. But then you
tried it.
Because then after the allocation is done, you could then say you are in row, B or whatever, right? Based on the bulk change.
I think and then the way that I did it last year was just a contact custom field, and I think that's just easier.
Right.
Yeah. Because I now know the other thing
you're allocating them.
Yeah, they get allocated. And then because the other problem was that you can't add preferred first name to a comms with like logic behind it to say if they've put a preferred first name, use that. But what I have been told since I think Nikki told me, is that there's a filter that you can do for preferred name is blank. So you can do 2 HTML fields, one for people who have a blank preferred name and use the first name, and one who everyone else. And
you need to explain that further, because that is also one of some feedback that I have given that you can't do. Like, what?
So just what? So in filtering, if you go to contact and then go right down to the bottom, there's I can't remember what it's called. It might be just blank field or something. And there's a whole load of options there that you can choose.
Yeah, like the data validation.
A little bit like that, yeah. But the only annoying thing is you can't exclude those things. I quite like that, but yeah.
Nah.
Are you following?
Nah. I'm looking at I'm in reports though.
Oh, so go to like attendees and go into filter, although it should be the same filter.
Yeah, it should be.
And it's in the contact right down the bottom near the like marketing preference stuff. There's a drop down.
Blank fields.
Yes.
But then how would that help in comms though?
Because you can filter
make two different ones.
So you have two HTMLs.
Yeah.
One is filtered to where the preferred first name is blank.
Yeah.
And in that one, you put first name as the merge field.
Yeah.
And then the other one you just leave as is, and it will pull through the preferred name.
Yeah. Right. I get why you're saying you can't exclude it. Yep. Right. Yeah. Good. Following along now, or just make it so that some logic.
No,
if blank, then display.
Yeah.
Thank you for everybody for following along.
No,
Thank you for our VNC 101.
So you end up sending two separate emails.
No, you can just send one email and have a filtered HTML.
Oh, separate HTML. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a tip.
Yeah, that's a tip. Yeah, HTML filtering on comms can make life a bit easier, but sometimes I wonder whether it's just easier to have separate comms. I think it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But I have used it where I've got like information for speakers. Like I've done a registration confirmation or a final information where I've sent out information to everyone. And in this, I've filtered it to speakers to say, make sure that we've got your bio. If we've got it, it's included below. And I've filtered that so that just the speakers get that. So it can be quite handy.
I use it all the time. Like our final confirmation, we have like 15 blocks.
Oh, wow.
Of filtering in and out.
I bet you were really pleased when they brought in the name of the HTML.
Oh, yeah. Because HTML, which one is it again? Although I wish that you could I wish that I could name my sections in my interactive sites as well, because I use like contact multiple times because you'll lock in some of your fields.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. 100%.
You just got to remember which order you put them in each time, right?
You'd never do though.
No, of course you won't.
You could always put a like a heading or a text box in, put the text in so that you can see it. Can you do that with text? Put the name in, and then make it not visible.
Way too sensible, that one.
Or just let me name it.
Or just let you name it. Yeah. 100%.
Or do it properly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's do it properly.
I'm not going to say do it properly. I'm just going to say that like it's the same that happens all the time where we as event people think very differently to other people.
Yeah.
I'm not going to point fingers. This is my no point fingers of the week.
Sometimes I think it's hard because there's been a few times where there's a certain functionality that's been brought in, like naming components or HTML bits for some bits, but not other bits. And it's like, well, why didn't you do it for everything? Because it would have been really handy to be able to have the option for everything. And there may be a really quite valid reason why, developmentally it wasn't as easy to do it on like the contact modules.
Yes. Agreed.
Yep.
All in favour, raise your hand.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, speaking of which, and seeing Francie brought up comms and filtering, I've got one. Forgive me if any of my team or have spoken about it in a previous session that I missed, but I'd love to know if there's a way when we're doing specifically panels or co-presented presentations, we like to send out a comms to them to say, here are your commitments, and it filters by roles first. So, you might be a facilitator or a chair in these sessions. And then it says, here are your commitments as a presenter. But of course, that filtering, as I understand it, won't display anyone that's a co-presenter. And often for that scenario or a panelist, the only way we can get that to appear on the comms is to give them each their own presentation called panel discussion.
Correct.
And then go and delete it all again, because of course we want it to look neat and tidy in the app.
Correct.
Okay, not the answer I wanted.
I know. That is correct.
Yeah.
To make it appear, you have to go in and manually add it into every single every single attendee record.
Right.
But
to
I
make
think
the bio appear.
For us, I think it was like one of the first early on sessions. Like you end up manually doing something to make it in the communications better. Whereas I think for next year, I am just going to go back to doing the mail merge. I'll export what their roles are, because you end up spending so much time manually doing something that, whereas I can export the report that's going to have their roles, their times, and I'm just going to send it as a mail merge.
But the problem is that with how the bios appear on the website as well, though. So only the contact bio appears. So if you want them each to have their own bio, then you have to manually add them. And so that's where we kind of are like, we have to do it.
So that's something that we noticed. We spoke about that last week. We've noticed it in the app. I haven't looked at it on the website, but the app has changed now, so that co-presenters, presenting authors, do show their bio in the app now.
So is that pulling the actual contact bio?
Well, that's what's weird, right?
Yeah.
It does.
Got to.
So for the person who it's actually assigned to, it shows the presentation bio. For the subsequent people that are co-presenting, it shows their contact bio. Which is still a
step in the right direction. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I was happy when I found that.
Yeah.
Because I really don't appreciate having to navigate around putting individual presentations in just so I can see it in. I haven't
get the bio.
Definitely in the bio in the mobile app. But you could imagine we talked a lot about how a lot of the things flow through to other platforms. And so our session slides get all mucked up when we have to do it that way. Whereas if you leave it logically, the way we think about associating it to a co-presented session, they all sit nicely together. It looks really, really cool. All right. Well, that wasn't helpful.
No, sorry. That is one of my biggest peeves about the abstract portal and the abstract process is that piece, is the bios and the fact that you have to manually add it in to then actually have any make it appear in comms so that you can confirm to them. As is Kelly going, yes.
Yeah. Session roles can work for that though as well, right? Like as in making them a role will make it show up in the comms.
Yes, but still a manual process.
A manual process, although quicker than creating a presentation for each one, right? Because you're just adding an existing contact to the
So the way
session.
that we've started doing it is that we have an alert set, and we only ask for co-presenter details. I'm using a completely different field for co-author or co-contributors, and that way all of the information that we're capturing with those details are just co-presenters. So we then just go in and basically add in just the title and the paper number and the time. So it's taking us a couple of minutes longer, and then we can just basically send off, hey, you've been nominated as a co-presenter for us to be able to promote your involvement. This is all the information you need and reminders about registration and stuff like that. So for us, we find that works. But you know, we're running a 5-6 stream conference. It's not 10-15 streams. So it's a lot of work, but is manageable for us. My favorite is when you have like a rapid and there's like 5 presenters. It's like, it's 5 minutes. How you're going to present?
Do that thing where you have to do 1 word each.
and then you put, so then I tried putting on the like our webpage like recommended presenters, and then they kicked up because they were like, well, you've said that I'm only allowed this many, and it's like, well, I haven't said that's how many you can have. I've just recommended so that you actually get time. Anyway, these are my woes for today.
We don't all want to speak, but we do want to hold hands while one person is speaking. We want to all be standing there together. That was the difference for those 5 minutes.
Emotional support.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Some people have emotional support animals. They need emotional support people.
So the trick today is that we're just asking challenges that no one can answer. Fix. Yeah.
Well, the one thing that I think we're going to try, Grant, this time around, and this might be filling in some blanks for the rest of the team listening in, that if we export out to Slide Crew and send the comms from there, it will now say, here's your, because the data's there. Now I can filter it in that system, and that does let you do it. So it's not ideal if you want to keep the comms, because I'm trying to keep all the comms in EA, right?
Yeah.
But that technically should work, right?
Yeah, it will. It will, because they're just simply seen as equals. There isn't a primary person, which we've come into problems with before. And actually, I wonder if others have had this too recently, where we were deduping, so we were merging contacts, and what would happen is that a presentation that was assigned to the first Bob Jane, that's where the presentation was assigned to. But if we merged it with the second Bob Jane, what would happen to the presentation is that they would no longer be the author. So even though it shows, when you go into their contact, it shows that presentation is assigned to it, if you look at the presentation and the authors, they're no longer there, because they don't exist. Now, this isn't normally an issue in the app as it stands now, but when you're just using the functions of Events Air. But when you're pulling data through the API, there is no author for that presentation, so it's not assigned to them. And so all of these presentations just drop off because they no longer are the author, and it happened in the merging process. So there's a few of those things where it's like, it's possible to assign a presentation to someone, they become the author, they are assigned as the author, but you can remove them as the author, but yet it's still assigned to them as a presentation. And so an author doesn't necessarily mean, or even if there's only one author, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's their presentation. So that's an ongoing headache for me. There's a few times where I've had that. And the only way is to go in and add them as the author again, and then everything fixes. But what we were saying before is that using the presentation file management system that we use, that sends out to ask people for their PowerPoint files, they're just a presentation which has one or many presenters, and each one of them are equal, and so then they just get sent an email, and that way they can both upload, or one can upload, or whatever. So that's how that works. But that is using it separately in a similar way, Lisa, to you doing an export and doing mail merge. Is essentially the same thing. At the end of the day, they've got the same presentation name, and they've got, you know, multiple authors, and they all just get the same content.
I haven't done it yet. I'm just thinking of doing that next year because I'm sick of doing it the way I'm doing it.
You're teasing yourself with it.
Yeah. But I think they brought it up in the past, you know, because sometimes you have to go in and you have to manually, you know, change that communication before it goes out. And we had issues that we number all our merge docs. So I knew I was sending number 15. So I just go number 15.
Yeah,
and then I would go and preview it. And it wasn't the email I was wanting to send. It would pick up a different one.
Oh.
So lucky I was previewing it, because there
That
was
was happening for a couple of weeks, wasn't it?
And it's still going on anyway.
Oh, don't tell me that.
No, and the only response that I got from support was that we were working too fast and we need to work slower.
You were working too fast.
Yeah, we were working too fast, bringing up the merge docs and trying to manually edit them. So it makes me nervous.
Oh, so it wasn't refreshing whatever it was trying to read in the back end. It was holding the last.
It was, and I think what I worked it out was that it was picking up like the last email that maybe got sent out when I looked at like the sent communications, because I was like, why is it bringing up like, you know, paid invoice? Why is it bringing up that? And then I could see, because someone else sent that. So
that explains a bit. Now
I haven't spoken to anyone else that's had the issue. My colleagues have had the exact same issue. But yeah, it makes you nervous when you're sending out so many. Like, you know, we have to now preview everything before we send it out, because we just know that it may not be the right thing that gets sent out.
That's significant.
Yeah, it is.
Particularly, it frightens the crap out of me when I hear you say anything about finance or invoicing comms went out. Completely unrelated, and you're sending out some information.
It's still sending that contact.
The same recipient. Yeah,
it's the same recipient, but it's just selecting not the email that you want to send out.
Yeah,
it's a big bug.
I think if AirHeads was to take a vote on which of these problems we need to nominate as the one that we want prioritized, I feel like mine should sit somewhere at the top, though, in terms of. But suddenly Lisa's has now jumped right up to the very top.
Oh, but I haven't heard anyone else. Like, if it wasn't,
I assumed it was us. Sometimes we get that, or we get a client saying, "Hey, I've got this, and I've already written," and I think, "Oh, you've obviously sent the wrong thing," or whatever. It's gaslighting at its best, right? It must have been user error.
Yeah, and
now that I hear this, it's starting to make sense now.
If it wasn't other people at work having the exact same issue, I would have thought I was just going insane.
The rest of us clearly don't work as fast as you, Lisa.
I'm a machine.
That's right. That's the problem. That's the problem. You're too fast for it.
I mean, what a compliment. Like, don't work too fast. Work slow.
But when you're on it, you're on a roll and you're just like, right, I'm going to get all of these out to these speakers. I need to say, I think it was what we talked about last week too, the adjudicators on site, like sending them each of their adjudications. So I did have to manually go in and do it. And yeah, it was just not, anyway.
So the good thing is, Lisa, that you can tell the powers that be for your organisation that you need to slow down. I've been told
that's what I told all my colleagues. I said to them, we're just working too fast.
We're just working too fast. Just need to slow it down.
Lisa,
I'm not sure that would fix it anyway.
The examples you're giving, though, sorry, Grant. I just want to clarify. So it wasn't scheduled comms or anything that you're referring to. It's all individual stuff that you're just pumping out, right?
Yeah, so I think we were talking about last week that we have adjudications on site, and I set up that they get an individual survey. So I have to manually go through so that it auto tokens to that survey. So it is a manual process. So, but I keep, you got to do those judges. That's what I'm going to do for that afternoon. And yeah, it was just pretty outrageous.
The example that I was referring to was a result of scheduled comms going out, where people are saying that they got something either a second time or other information. And that's the bit that it's like, how do you control that now? Like, you're sending out 2,000 emails. There's not much you can do about that.
No, I have heard that's happened as well. It hasn't happened to me, but I've heard that schedule comms as well.
All right, let's change it up to some happy time. What's some? This is making me feel depressed.
Some wins. Yeah, that's right.
What are some wins?
I met with my committee last week and they were unhappy with some things, and now I'm just really sad about it.
Oh, they were unhappy with some of your layout and stuff, or something of the program?
Yeah, my sub stuff. Anyway, it's just made me a little bit sad. So I've got nothing good. I'm just trying to work out how I can make changes to something that's already open.
Yeah, that's worst case scenario stuff, isn't it? Don't rock the boat. It's live. No amount of cloning that stuff and replicating it, in a test system does it justice, I think, until you've actually got volume and actual interactions happening. Otherwise, you just don't really know if it's working. It's nothing like a really good live test.
There's nothing like our members not giving the feedback to me and instead giving them to each other, giving the feedback to each other.
Oh yeah, that's another level of shit.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
The communication. Yeah, that sucks.
Did they see the portal before it went live?
Yes.
Oh,
and then they save the feedback for the committee meeting.
Oh goodness.
Which is too late.
Yeah. Any key insights that they didn't like about it? Because it's awesome. Like from our
Thank you. Feedback, I don't know if you've ever received. Has anybody ever had funding disclosures to be asked during submissions processes?
No.
Not a conflict of interest funding. Different again. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 10 years and I've never had this feedback.
We obviously asked like if they've presented it at another event.
Yeah.
I do know for our awards that I'm doing through Events here, we ask like if it's like a best research award, we ask if their research was part of a PhD, because we will score them lower.
Well, this one is like if you receive funding like a grant or a scholarship, but isn't all research funded?
Not always. Sometimes it can be off your own back. And that's why, we ask that for the research award, because, sometimes it is people that are invested in, they're not an academic and are just interested. And I think it's actually sometimes, I think that's a real positive that if people aren't. But are they wanting to ask that question because they think that might be why it might sway the presentation because it's been funded by a certain associate?
Yeah, apparently we give out grants, and the grants that we've given out, people have been putting submissions in and they are not meeting the grade to present. They're scoring too low, which is awkward. We're giving the money to do the research and they're not scoring high enough to be presented at the conference.
Ouch.
It's awkward.
I wonder whether this is all tied obviously into not just in any abstract review invited speakers, but like all of them, right? You're saying anyone that's in the program needs to volunteer or acknowledge that information.
No, not necessarily. I think that what they're wanting to use it for is to make sure if they are funded by us, that even if they're not scoring very well, that we need to include them, which I think defeats the purpose. But apparently just saying be better isn't the answer in this situation.
So from a practical point of view, obviously you can set up some comms and filter on anyone that's in your program that's presenting. put some logic in based on, I mean, what are you talking big numbers? Is it something you can manually add and then send them a?
No idea.
Gotcha. So it's got to go to everyone.
Yeah, who knows? I feel like I'm about to include a field when it's not really relevant for 99.9% of people.
Yeah.
It feels like a workaround would be like, okay, well, who's got this grant, is at a stage that they can present. Let's approach them for like abstract mentoring, because maybe it's just their writing that's letting them down and not getting to the stage that they can be included. Or like, and then flagging that somehow if there is any submissions. Like, it's a longer way, but rather than including it for everyone when it's, as you say, not relevant.
And they might not understand the question. I feel like that happens a lot, where you ask these questions and you try and give them an example and they just don't know. Anyway,
Have we given you money? Yes, no.
But is it only for the money that you've given them, Sarah?
Look, I don't know. That was just the example that was given about funding, and that it has happened in the past where we have given money and then they haven't been accepted. So
but there's nothing to say that I'm sure you have a spreadsheet of who's got funding and just run a comparison report or something.
Would we?
Oh, okay.
Filing systems, Lisa. Remember, filing systems.
Oh, yes.
Associations. Does anybody have anything good to say? Because I'm just going to mute myself. Bye.
You can add that extra field in that example. You can add that extra field partway through the submission process, right? And then follow up on the ones that have already, if you had to. It's better to get half the data now, right?
I don't want to.
Yeah.
I think it is always that thing, like, when, like you're looking at asking a marketing question at registration, it's like, is it really applicable for why do you want? I think that's what I always go back and ask, like, well, what are you going to do? If I ask that question, what are you going to do with that data?
And I mean, we've already received feedback that we were asking questions last year that made the submission process too long. And so I've pulled a lot of questions out, but now we want to add more in. This is why I have a generic submissions process, and I usually don't ask for feedback from the committee.
Yeah.
I feel like every week we always come back to the abstract portal.
Every week.
Lisa, I know you use Grant. I know you use the group contact or that group registration. There we go. There's something else we could talk about, because it's something that's been bugging me. How do you push people to that group portal? Is that just the button on your rego page? Just like register group here?
Yeah, pretty much. And it is good. The only annoying thing is I've never been able to get it to work to pull a full invoice if they add them at separate times. I think when I first set it up, I did it where I set it up where you could say, like, are you the person that are going to register a group? That then would direct them to and it works really well, like, because then usually it is, and I think that's why we stopped it. We used to have two different options. I can't remember the other options, but now we just have, if someone's going to register everyone, and it takes them to the portal, it sends them an email that then they go and put their own details in. I actually really like it. I don't know whether many people use it, but I actually look. We don't get many people. We probably get only about 4 or 5 companies that will actually go in and use it. But for them, I think they really like it, because especially for the person who's organising the group, they don't have to manually enter everyone's details. Their onus is on that person to go and do their own, because there's some information they don't know. And it also gives them the option of, like, obviously we have members and non-members prices. So, people in that group don't have to be all of the same registration type. Like they could be a virtual or an in-person, and it all happens through the portal.
And is the registration type selected by the organizer or by the attendee?
Well, the way I've set it up is by the attendee.
Okay. Yeah, so that would be my only thing is like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. But what if someone's like, I'll just go, not that we offer virtual, like, I'll just go for a virtual option, but they were planning on sending them in person or whatever.
I'm pretty sure you could set it up to have only certain ticket types.
I've set it up and I like it too. We've got a particular client that's used it for the last few years, and they opt in. You know, I'm the person booking on behalf of the group. Am I attending or not? I think is the first question, something to that effect. And the minute they say they are or aren't, then I think we've even got some text in there that says, once you've completed this, now go back and do it for each other person for that particular association. They each get an institution discount or, you know, a registration code, discount code. And so then they can nominate it to whoever they want.
Yeah.
And then there's, once they've submitted that, it triggers off a comms to the individual to saying, you've been registered and here's a link if you want to go and update whatever other information you might have. You know, it seems to work well. That particular client just loves it because they just get a lot of feedback saying they prefer to just do a single invoice and they do it on behalf, you know, the person in the office or an admin person just does all the registrations for them. And some of them can have up to like 10 or 12 attendees. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. And it's quite good. They can like bulk upload like a list of all the staff they want to invite. They just like download a template. So at least for them, it makes it actually quite an easy process. I haven't built it yet, Callie, but when I do, I'll share it with you.
Amazing, because that was the first time I saw it when I saw it earlier this year that you showed me. I'd never seen that group portal before. We were always just using group linking, which we did for our last conference. We had like nearly 200 uses of like the group booking at our last, but we allowed groups of 2. You know, probably encouraged it, but you know, at least we got more people in the door.
Yeah, give it a crack. I would recommend though that second step of once they've registered and they can choose whatever registration and apply whatever discount, that group single person, have that second trigger to the individual, because you're not going to get accurate information for dietaries and, you know, anything else that might be. You just don't. It never seems to work out. And then of course you've got grumpy pants at the gig saying it wasn't organized, and it's got nothing to do with you, no matter how many times you mention it in the registration portal. And so we learned fairly quickly to follow it up with another email to the individuals to say it's your responsibility now to update your preferences for a session or whatever it might be, or dietaries in particular.
Yeah, good idea.
And I think the group portal is quite good because, you know, obviously the person who bulk uploads all of them, they can actually see how they're going, like if they've registered, if they haven't. So it takes a lot of less. I'm always up for less work for us.
Yeah, because we give them the, like, in a Word document what the registration form looks like and said these are all the questions you have to answer. So it would push back to that booking person to go collect that and then input it all. And I was like, that sounds like a nightmare, but it's not my nightmare. So, but something easier will be better, and we'll probably get nice people giving us nice feedback about it. So
the other way that you can do it is we just end up asking for, because we can't work as fast as Lisa. We were just doing because it's only me that does group portal. Like Renee, who works with me, hasn't really done any of that. So I was kind of like, do a spreadsheet, do first name, last name, email address, mobile number, import it in, and then we'll just send the registration links like that, and then we can link it that way. Lisa's way is probably less work, but more work to build at the start.
Sorry, I don't mind building.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if it works, it does work well. I used it years ago.
Awesome. I'll give it a go this year.
I mean, in general, anything you can do before the event is better than afterwards, because after it's done, you just want to be done. You just want to send the reports, done. We're out of there. This, but the committee idea, changing things reminds me of something that I read earlier this week, which was this KFC slogan: "Succumb to the breadcrumb."
Well, I can look at it as baked beans.
I know. I saw that too. I
Same.
thought, what? Saw that too. The article that I read was like, clearly the marketing agency would have said succumb to the crumb. And that somewhere along the line, someone is saying you have to say bread, which throws the whole slogan. But that it was like, it's a far better slogan as succumb to the crumb, not succumb to the breadcrumb. So, Sarah, you should feel encouraged that you're in good company with multinational marketing agencies that have to deal with committees and things like that can ruin the end product.
Yeah, my neighbor works for a agency that does all of that stuff, and she's like, the ideas that people come up with, and I'm like, this is why it's not my area of expertise. I just go do my plan, write my marketing plan. If you want to come up with a silly slogan, knock yourself out. Succumb to the crumb, sure.
Yeah, totally. Very good. Now, Sarah, we teased a couple of weeks ago about you showing the abstract,
and I was a bit busy last week. I was very busy last week. Yeah, I did. I had all staff. I literally worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I know that sounds really stressful, but I don't usually work Wednesdays. And I got to Thursday and I thought I was dead. I don't know how people. I was so tired, like being with people here, and I had to pretend that I liked them. Like, it was exhausting. Like my manager.
Being recorded.
Yeah, I'll send it to her. I'll be like, I had to be with you but yeah, my manager. I'll be like, I had to be with you for 4 days, and I had to pretend that I liked you.
No, like now a good time to do a shout out to her, just in case she's watching the recording.
Just name them all. And they like, we watched that whole episode. We heard about how Lisa seems to be working really fast. So I don't know why. Don't know why you were feeling so dead. Yeah, fair enough. But we'll just keep that up our sleeve. At some point, we'd love to dive into it.
I think that Hallie's got a pretty similar portal.
but you're the OG.
Yours is the most detailed, I think, Sarah.
Yeah, I know. It's exhausting.
It makes my brain hurt when I do see
yours. I know it does. Everything that I do, I think, makes your brain hurt, because you're like, simplify it. And I'm like, I can't. I've tried. I've pulled everything out that I can.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the key it once, use it many, and make sure it's bloody simple. I'm not sure I've achieved that just yet, but it would be a good philosophy to adopt, is my suggestion. Hey, here's a good news story, and it's not as complex as Sarah and Lisa, for that matter, not as fast as Lisa. But I don't know about you guys. If we bypass abstract submissions, and now we're talking about smaller events, maybe 100 to 400, we've been getting huge success sending out speaker comms, and I'm sure others are doing the same thing. Inviting the speakers to upload additional information, not just their photo and bios and fun facts and things like that. Typically, for a whole bunch of our clients, they've just been chasing them with tedious results at best, until you arrive on site and there's suddenly only half of the people have actually responded and given information. But I just want to suggest that we're doing a bunch of those almost now as stock standard part of our MO. And if we're not hitting 90 to 95%, I'd be surprised with all of them. And from our end, kind of like ties in with what we talked about, some of the dietary portals and things that we were chatting about in session 3 or 4 of this little get together. But we're doing very little now to manage that stuff. It's just self-managed. And so, yay.
How are you doing that differently?
It's not different. We're simply just putting a portal up. And when we send out comms to the invited, all the speakers saying, here's a template. And by the way, make sure you go and check your bio and update your photo. And we'll be using this for an introduction for the chairs, and making sure it's a short, succinct little bit of information. They click on it and off they go to a speaker portal. And by the time we get on site, and put this in context, remember, we're using a lot of the data in EA now to feed off to a session report for a chair and other things.
Yeah, because you've got like
all of that's now
Grant.
just we've got Grant. All of that's becoming, as I said, just a standard thing, and so it's a massive time saver for us. And not
Well,
just us,
we've
our
found that
clients, so.
no one ever goes to the portal. So this was the first year that we actually did on the website a speakers resource page that just had everything, because they always forgot their logins to the portal or whatever. And I felt like they were definitely a lot more prepared because they didn't have to always go to the portal to find everything.
Interesting. Well, I don't want to jinx myself, but we've got a scenario coming up in a few weeks where we've got 3 or 4 of these small events happening across the state, South Australia, Queensland, and New South Wales. So I'll report back and let you know, but I'm kind of feeling like thus far.
Do you know, it would make it even more like a smooth process if they use contact bio instead of presentation bio, because then you wouldn't have to go and copy and paste that bio into the presentation.
Well, for these small ones, I won't be. So it is the contact bio. Yeah,
because you've got Grant. Oh,
don't pull out that now. That's distracted.
Oh my God.
That is way too cute. Look at this, Nelly.
Oh, goodness me. That's a fresh one.
It is.
Oh my goodness. She's here. Hi,
she's
everyone.
9 weeks old.
Oh.
This is Coco.
Oh, that's
Hi,
so
Coco.
perfect.
Oh.
Such a tiring life.
Oh, wow.
Look at the tummy.
I'm really looking cute at that. I think it's what everyone is always chasing, though, those speaker bios. The only thing that we've found works now is we just find a bio off the internet and we say to them, this is a bio we found. If we haven't heard from you in a few days' time, this is what
we're using that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, you get such an urgent response from them.
Yeah, you do. And do you know, I've even seen for some of the internationals, for these smaller events, we do precisely that, or our end client does precisely that. And then they realize very quickly, even on site, and they go, oh, that's an old photo or a headshot. The amount of the invited or VIP speakers that are doing tweaks and updates, even after day one on site, because they've seen everyone else doing it right, is quite surprising. It's getting more and more. So it's working well.
I like the idea of the Googling the bio, and you're saying we've got the bio, bio
and the headshot as well. Yeah.
You say bio or review, whichever we found. We found a review of, we found a comment about you that may not be flattering. You might want to change it. It's like, I think it's a bio. It said your name in it. Yes. I got confused by being licked on my face.
It happens.
So
my 4-year-old does that to me.
I think that's all.
Are you going to demo next week, Sarah?
Yeah. We give us more time.
You let me know.
Otherwise you'll rush it through. Let's do it next week.
Okay. I can come next week. I'm not wagging.
I think it was good the other week when people sent through questions, because I think sometimes people must get sick of just hearing ours.
Yeah, I know, our questions.
The same thing. It'd be great for more people to join. And I think when people ask the questions, it was good. It sort of flowed on some good conversations.
It was mostly Catherine that asked all those questions, but it was good. So it's okay. We'll see.
Otherwise, it's just us in a void asking the same questions to each other. Seeing as though I talked to Kelly and Lisa separately as well.
That changed. It's like, has it changed yet? That we're complaining about the same things each week.
Yeah, but I think like Sarah doing her demo, and then it'd be great to see sometimes what other people are doing. I mean, it's hard. I guess we try and make things private as such, but
little bit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was mentioned earlier, but the Eventair team were trying to get more people to come to this last week. So
yeah, we had a couple of people sign up. There was 3 or 4 people signed up.
They don't try and get me to come.
Make sure Sarah doesn't come.
Have Eventair people signed up to come?
No. No, but I think they
pretty funny if they tried to come in disguise.
I think moustache.
Well, they watch this, so call out, guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep.
Hi,
Yeah,
team.
we do. We appreciate that they do. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do it all again next week. We'll see. I think there are quite a lot of people that are watching it afterwards. And so if you are watching it afterwards, remember that you can ask questions by just clicking the link in every email that goes to the dashboard, and then there's ask a question. If you post it there, then I will see it, we'll read it out, and we'll discuss it.
You'll remember to check it.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. If we have I did have a little look through the Facebook group as well, of things that I think mostly that was covered. People have covered some questions there in the answers, but not everyone is on Facebook, which we're starting to find more and more people that are using Eventair and would love to be connected but don't know about it. So we're starting to get a few more people sign up. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. We said we'll keep doing it through this year, and we'll see how it goes. But I think there's value in it being every week, and sometimes there'll be more people, sometimes less, and sometimes questions and whatever. So thank you for coming. Good chat.
Goodbye.
And
Bye.
see you next week.